Once you finalize work breakdown structure, next thing according to the PMBOK 6th edition, we define the activities and we sequence the activities because project tasks or activities need to be performed in the right sequence for the schedule to work well. In project management, task dependencies or task links define the sequence in which tasks should occur. Like in this example, we have different activities: procure hardware, test hardware, procure software tools, procurement completed, write program, test and debug, install, training, implementation, test log, morning shift, evening shift. But all activities are starting on the same date. So here you need to provide the sequence to your project work. To do that, you need to select two activities like procure hardware and test hardware. Test hardware can be performed once you procure the hardware. So select row number 3 and row number 4. Go to the task tab. Under the schedule section, click this link button. Now on the time scale, you can see the link has been established between procure hardware and test hardware. You need to understand the type of relationship between procure hardware and test hardware or different activities of your project. For that purpose, on the task tab, under the property section, click this details button. This is your task detail form. For instance, the test hardware has predecessor procure hardware, which has type FS. FS stands for finish to start. So finish to start is an activity must finish before the successor can start. This is the most commonly used relationship. Like you can test your hardware once you procure the hardware. So that is the finish to start relationship. Another is start to start, SS. An activity must start before the successor can start. You must start designing and wait for 2 weeks, like for example, in order to have enough of the design completed to start coding. We have FF relationship, that is finish to finish. For example, an activity must finish before the successor can finish. And the last option is SF. S stands for start to finish. This is normally done for different shifts rotation in your project. So let's make a comprehensive project schedule. First, select your procure hardware. Procure hardware activity is dependent on IT project activities, which will take 12 days to complete. So you just select procure hardware and go to the predecessor name and select here the IT project and select the type, that is finish to start. Just click OK. In the time scale you can see. Then procure software tool is dependent on the IT project as well. So select procure software tools and select your IT project, and the same type is finish to start. You can achieve your procurement completed milestone once you procure your hardware, test your hardware and procure your software tools. So just select procurement completed, and here you need to select test hardware and procure software tools and select the relationship, that is finish to start, and click OK. So once these two activities are done, you can achieve your procurement completed milestone. Then we have write program activity. Write program is dependent on your procure software tools. Then we have test and debug, which is dependent on write program. Select the type, that is finish to start, click OK. Then you have install activity here. Now I want to assign someone to record the test log during the testing and debugging for the project. For that purpose, you need to just click on test log and select under the predecessor section test and debug. But here I will just change the type of the relationship. Now here in this example, it is start to start relationship. That represents when you start this activity, test and debug, someone within your team will maintain the test log as well. So I will just select SS and I will click OK. Now in this time scale, you can see there is a different representation of your relationship, because this denotes that you have recorded your test log along with the test and debug activity. So this is how you can make a start to start relationship for the activities. Next activity is install activity, which is dependent on two activities like test and debug and test hardware, and its type is again finish to start. Click OK. Then next is training. Training is dependent on the install activity. Then we have implementation. This is the last activity of my project. Along with the implementation, I want to take the formal approval from the customer to close the project. Formal approval. And I want to make a link between these two activities. So select your formal approval. For example, implementation is dependent on your last activity, that is training. And for formal approval, just select and provide the type finish to finish and select here implementation, which was the last activity. Now here I will provide finish to finish. Once the implementation is finished, I will take formal approval from the customer to close my project successfully. Finish to finish, select OK, and here you can see it is representing that once the implementation is done, you can take formal approval instantly from the customer. And the project is just making a very beautiful outlines in the time scale for you. Now last example is morning shift and evening shift. A morning shift can start once the evening shift is finished, for example. So for that purpose, you just select the morning shift and under the predecessor provide the relationship, evening shift, and provide the relationship type start to finish SF and click OK. Continue, and this is your morning and evening start to finish relationship, where an activity must start before a successor can finish. So for process oriented work in the project management plan, we use this kind of relationship.